Everybody, Kizkrash here. Today, we're going to be looking on the philosophy of dubstep. So this is a very cohesive script that I wrote that goes into depth. How dubstep has evolved over the years to the point to where it feels like everybody is just an engineer. Now, nowadays, there are so many subgenres of dubstep that it gets to a point where some of these things almost can't be called dubstep anymore.
At the stage of the stream where I'm just adding tear out sounds now.
You have things like deathstep, which I think you can still call dubstep, but it really kind of misses out on a lot of what made dubstep what it really was. You know, because dubstep was sort of founded on groove and flow and, you know, dance. It's dance music. But then you have something like deathstep that's, it's kind of just headbang music. It's about aggression. It's pretty much the heavy metal of dubstep. So realistically, you really can't dance to deathstep. It's a headbang thing. It's just that the snare and the kick are so damn heavy that almost nothing else in the song matters. And that's when we get into the first aspect of the philosophy on dubstep. It's the core of the music. And that's just it. It's so simple. It's literally music. Right? But a lot of people tend to treat it as if it's an engineering project, which I understand because, you know, electronic music as a whole was founded taking all these different pieces of a machine, putting them together in places where they should not be connected, and they create music out of it. They're using a computer to create music. Now, with that being said, I think that at the core of it, songwriting should be the foundation of dubstep. Because back in the UK, when they first created dubstep, which is a mix between Jamaican dub music and two-step garage, the most important aspect of it was flow. You had the same general flow throughout the entire song. It was kind of like a rap song, which is why there were a lot of Jamaican rappers on those earlier tracks. Pretty much anything by The Bug.
Them boy get body in the revolution, but I've always begun. Box, hand me. Somebody life I got them can't see me come. Them boy get up and run. 20043 2 1. When I mess what tongue. Life what life I got done. Bonfire, run.
But then, of course, at some point, Skrillex came along and created this whole new aspect of dubstep nobody's ever heard before, and they call it brostep. Now, brostep has not had the best reputation. This is kind of the inception of what turned dubstep from what it used to be into what it is right now. So to put it in perspective, I curate a lot of music for my website Xmode, which has a new volume of Bass Insect #2 coming out here in maybe the next few months or so. But when I go searching for these songs, there is one prevailing issue that I seem to have. A lot of them focus so much energy on mixing the song and making it as aggressive and bloodshot as possible, to the point to where it's almost not really enjoyable to listen to. Now, some people might say, well, don't you want to have the best sounding song possible? Well, of course. But I can count many examples of smaller artists that I listen to that, they just completely destroy a song. They wreck a song entirely because they spent so much time mixing it that it no longer sounds good anymore. And in fact, they spend more time mixing the song than actually writing it. And so this is something that I call mix fatigue. It's this thing that happens when you spend so much time mixing a song that it actually sounds worse than when you started. Just get it sounding good one time and then leave it. Don't fuck with it after that. Now, there are going to be times occasionally where there are going to be spaces left over in the mix where certain things are not sounding right. A bass drum is conflicting with a sub bass. So all you really need to do at that point is separate the frequencies within the EQ to their respective inserts. Now, the next aspect of the core of the philosophy is uniqueness. The sad part is, though, uniqueness is inherently a tragic idea. A lot of people think that being unique involves being different somehow. You have to be as different and strange as possible. You have to make something that nobody's ever heard before, which, of course, is an aspect of it. However, what a lot of people get wrong is that being unique is not always about being different. A lot of the times you'd find it is about being yourself. I mean, Skrillex is Skrillex. He never went into it to capitalize on dubstep and turn it into a commodity. It just happened. His style of dubstep, his brand of dubstep, was ultimately what America wanted. And it was such an intense and belligerent thing that you just had to enjoy it. Even the people that hated it couldn't look away from it. They couldn't stop listening to it because it was so profound. These sounds that people were hearing had never been heard before. But that wasn't because Skrillex was trying to be different. That was his own unique style. All of his songs have aspects of that, even the ones today where really they're not as aggressive as they used to be. But the fundamental aspect of uniqueness is there. He wasn't trying to be different, he was trying to be himself. And sometimes in order to be yourself, you have to look into your own core influences. Me, for instance, when I first started making dubstep, it wasn't my first form of music that I was making. I actually came from the rock world. I was making punk rock demos in my dad's garage. And if you listen to the Get Some demo that I put out not too long ago, all 3 of those songs literally sound like rock music. But again, that wasn't necessarily my intention. It just sort of happened because that's what I'm influenced by. That's naturally what I grew up listening to. But more than that, I did not go into it saying to myself, oh my god, I'm gonna do dubstep and I'm gonna do rock music. We're gonna put them together, make the most unique thing ever. It's gonna be so epic. I'm gonna be so different. Nobody else can handle my fucking swag. The problem with that is, I didn't do that. The only thought that was going through my mind was making the shit that I wanted to make. I think a lot of people get caught up in this idea of being different that they forget to be themselves. And ultimately, being authentic is what attracts people. So as a quick run through, it's all about the music. It should always be about the songwriting first. The mix should always come second. It should not be an afterthought. However, you shouldn't spend the majority of the time mixing the song because you're probably going to ruin the song in the process. That'll conclude today's lesson. The next video, we're going to be talking about promotion and getting your shit out there and why it's a failed mess. Thank you everybody for attending. I will be taking your tuition at the door. Please excuse yourself. Be sure to grab your belongings at the cubbies at the entrance.